All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grime Fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, Wolverhampton Enforcement Officer John plays hardball.
Maximum fine is £50,000, 5 years imprisonment.
Council property manager AJ confronts another dreadful flat.
You don't want to see anyone live like this, really, do you?
Grime investigator Alison might have struck it lucky.
Some pictures there, like the Picasso.
And Westminster Council's toughest officer Yano shows some mercy.
I'll give you an hour, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I apologise.
No problem.
I feel guilty.
Problem here with maintaining cleansing standards, fly tipping. As you can see, the bins they've just been picked up, I think, about an hour ago, and they're already starting to overflow. It's incredible how much waste this area generates. It's tons and tons and tons.
The main problem for Yano is to find any evidence amongst the rubbish of an address to lead him to the culprit. But the perpetrators are getting wise to this, so they're making sure there's nothing on the rubbish to link them.
There's absolutely not a single shred of evidence there, so the only thing we can do is to avoid any more from going out by just trying to dispose of it as good as I can. It is a never-ending battle here, especially, some areas are better than others, but especially in Chinatown, it's dumping of waste has been going on for such a long time. It's certain mentality people have got, and they're just used to leaving things out and not taking pride in their environment. It's sad to see waste left out on the street like this, but there's only so much you can do.
Up in Wolverhampton, John, the council's environmental enforcement officer, is tasked with the same brief as Yano in Chinatown to relentlessly pursue the fly tippers. As an ex-copper, John has a wealth of experience in catching offenders. He, coincidentally, has also got a discarded fridge to start his shift.
This is a typical fly tip in Wolverhampton. White goods being abandoned, too idle to take it to the local CA site. They just abandon the fridges and just rely on the council to pick them up, and this is a major problem.
Unlike Yano's beat, often the streets of Wolverhampton are made up of residential houses, so John can knock on a few doors and do what he does best, see if anyone will lead him to the illegal dumper, or even better, find someone who puts their hands up to the offence.
Those people there, did you see them put the fridge out?
It's been out there for weeks.
Has it?
Yeah, it's not ours.
It isn't yours?
I've just seen you from upstairs and I was thinking, what's that? It's next doors.
It is next doors?
Yeah.
So on this occasion, John might get an early result. Time to knock up next door and see what they've got to say.
Hello, love. My name's John Eccleston from Wolverhampton City Council.
Yep.
I'm an environmental enforcement officer.
Yep.
The fridge that's on the footpath there, is that your fridge?
Yes, it is.
What is it doing there?
Well, I was out, and because it was sitting here.
Yes.
After years on the beat, John doesn't want to stand and chat. All he wants is the fridge quickly removed.
When will it be returned back to the curtilage of your property?
Within the next half an hour.
In the next half hour?
Yeah.
Okay, if it is left there, it's still your fridge, you are liable for that fridge.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So if it isn't back there today, I'll visit you again.
If the fridge isn't disposed of by the lady, the consequences could be extremely serious.
Consequences are appearing at Magistrates Court. Maximum fine is £50,000 and 5 years imprisonment.
Probably a little harsh for this fridge, but the size of the maximum punishment just shows how much of a deterrent is needed to combat the fight against the fly tippers. In Leicester, the council provides over 22,000 council properties for the community. Like cities all over the UK, if a council tenant dies with no immediate sign of relatives, the council has a responsibility to offer what's known as a welfare funeral. Before a property can be cleared, it's Environmental Health Officer Steve and Alison's job to go into the flat and try and find any evidence of next of kin, but most importantly, of evidence of any assets which the council can sell to recoup the cost of the funeral.
We're at a flat where a gentleman's been found dead. No relatives came forward, so we've come today to have a look through the property, see if we can find any addresses or names or anybody who might want to be involved in a funeral. If we find any evidence of any bank accounts or money, then we are able to recover some of our costs. I mean, this looks like he might have either dealed in antiques or bric-a-brac. Some pictures there, might be a Picasso. Or maybe not.
For Stephen Allison, there's always the potential of making some gruesome discoveries, as the only people normally to have entered the property are the police to clear away the body. On entering the bedroom, it's obvious that this is where the old man died.
We've come into the bedroom now, and there's a different smell in this room. From the rest of the flat, so we know he was found in here, and you can certainly tell that from the smell.
The distressing sight of the body fluids on the bed as something that Allison, alas, is all too used to.
This isn't particularly bad at all. We've seen a lot worse than this. Sadly, you know, it's not unusual to find money under mattresses, so yeah, we'll have a look under here. Make sure there's not a stash of money under there.
On this occasion, there's no stash under the mattress. Allison and Steve will have to look further into the man's affairs if they're going to get a result. Across town, AJ is the man from the council charged with clearing the council properties after Allison and Steve have completed their work. Today, AJ has arrived at a flat where a man has died. His job is to assess the state of the flat so he can brief the clean-up team and get the apartment cleared out, refurbished and let to another tenant as soon as possible. First impressions don't look that good.
It's jam-packed at the moment. First thing I'll obviously look for is if there's any fleas in the property. They tend to jump on white items. So far, so good.
As AJ moves through into the bathroom, things are getting worse.
Oh, pleasant ain't the word. It's a bit disgusting, really. You don't want to see anyone live like this, really, do you? But that's the way the society is at the moment. People don't believe what I actually see. You can tell people everything, saying how bad it was, but seeing is believing, really. I mean, that's when people sort of realise how bad it really is in here.
Next up is the bedroom, a sad and revolting vision of how the old man lived and died.
Looking at it, it looks like if this is where he's passed away, yeah. Sometimes it feels spooky, you know, when you know somebody's died in the property. You get these like tingles, but it's part of the job.
The sitting room is full to bursting with all manner of clutter and rubbish. This is often the norm with single occupancy flats. The tenants often tend to hoard the weirdest items over many years until they can't even get around their own flat. All that AJ needs to do now is photograph the contents before his clean-up team.
I think this needs much explaining. It's obviously someone that didn't really enjoy the food in Chinatown and reversed his digestive system.
All that Yano needs to do now is dial in the flushers to get the mess cleared away. As he waits, Yano can't help but have a rummage around some other illegal bin bags. Commercial waste should be put out in paid-for marked bin bags, not black ones, so if Yano can find evidence of an address in the bag, then he can find the business.
It was fairly easy to get evidence from this. So what I'll do, I'll take this evidence back and I'll issue a fixed penalty for this. Unpaid commercial waste usually always gets a fixed penalty.
As luck would have it, suddenly the owner of the bags appears.
You're going to get a fine now, don't you know? You can't leave it out in black bags.
But it's amazing how far a bit of pleading will go.
I beg you, please help me. I'm going now and I'm coming and within 10 minutes I will clear it.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll give you an hour then, yeah?
Yes, sir.
I'll give you an hour, please.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I apologize.
No problem.
I feel guilty too.
No problem. Thank you very much.
So allowing a stay of execution, a charitable Yano returns to see how the flushers are doing, cleaning up the pavement pizza.
Well, we've got the flushing vehicle here now. So what's going to happen now is we're going to flush it away, disinfect it with a disinfectant, and also spread a bit of a scent over it, so at least it smells better.
With a quick washdown, the legacy of an over-exuberant diner is quickly flushed away down the nearby gully, and the doorway is given a sweet-smelling makeover. All in all, a successful end to Yano's day. Coming up in part 2, Alison and Steve unearth some undesirables in the dead man's flat. AJ's whirlwind clean-up team arrive. John confronts some residents, and we're out on a night with Dave and Byrne, flushing the City of London streets. Throughout the country, an army of professionals are continuing to dedicate their daily lives to waging war on the nation's grime. In Leicester, environmental health officers Steve and Alison are still sifting through a dead man's flat who passed away, seemingly with no relatives. Consequently, the council has had to pay for a welfare funeral. Before they can have the flat cleared out, they're looking for any clues to the man's assets, so they can reclaim the cost of the funeral. In doing so, they get a pretty good picture of how the man lived.
He's obviously interested in antiques, and he's got quite a few knickknacks around, which is quite unusual actually. A lot of these places, there's nothing. There's not a picture, an ornament, a book, or anything. You know, he eats his food out of the saucepan. It's a very, almost like student lifestyle. Quite often you find a pornography collection. Haven't found that here, but it's not unusual to find that. We tend to throw that stuff away, and we kind of try and save people's sort of embarrassment, really.
There are on average over 40 welfare funerals a year for Alison and Steve to deal with. So they've seen it all before, but there are still emotionally very sensitive issues for them when trying to trace relatives who are probably unaware of what has happened to their loved ones.
I think the worst bit for me is when you find a scrap of paper in somebody's wallet with a name on and you don't know what relation that person is to the person who's died, and you've got to ring them up and say, excuse me, do you know this gentleman or this lady who's died? You know, and suddenly they might just say, oh yeah, that's my brother or that's my son, you know, or whatever. And that could be a bit difficult. You don't know who's going to be on the other end of the phone and what you're going to have to tell them.
Even though they've built up a personal profile of the dead man, there's still no sign of any relatives, or for that matter, any paperwork that might reveal some assets.
What we haven't found at the moment is a wallet or any file with any really personal documents in it. And we haven't found a file, you know, with a birth certificate, marriage certificate, relatives' death certificates, which you might expect. So at the moment, we're still a little bit in the dark.
In Wolverhampton, ex-cop John, the council's environmental enforcement officer, is on the trail of the owner of an abandoned sofa.
What we've got here is a settee that has been dumped on a footpath, blocking the footpath. It's outside a house that's to let. It may have come out of that house by either the previous tenant or by the landlord. So we'll just make 1 or 2 inquiries at the doors to see if we can find out who put it there. Have you any idea how the settee got in? How long's it been here? Any ideas?
A few weeks now, about 2 weeks.
It's about 2 weeks. Have you no idea where it come from?
John's getting nowhere fast. Perhaps it's worth trying one more resident.
I do. Yeah, any idea where this came from? Yeah.
As he goes over to the lady, eagle-eyed John spots her committing an offence.
No. Can you not drop that on the floor, please? No, you can get a 65 fixed penalty for that. It is waste and somebody else has got to pick it up if you don't.
The lady's dropped a cigarette butt and doesn't seem to understand that John's going to do her for the offence. That one cigarette is going to cost her £65.
Can I have your name and address, please?
It takes time for the lady to realise what's happening, and when she does, she's not happy at all.
Because you could have said, you know what, I'll give you a warning, but don't do it again. But no, I won't give you a fine. What for? I got 3 kids. Clean up the street, get it cleaned up. Instead of telling me I'm fining you for a fag that I put down the drain for you. Look at the state of Wolverhampton streets. Get them cleaned. That's what you want the money for. Clean them.
John's used to this verbal abuse. For him, he's got a job to do, keeping Wolverhampton streets clean, whatever the residents might think.
There's no difference between this lady dropping the fag hands, there's that paper, chip paper, those being the cans down there. Just she got caught. She'll be receiving a fixed penalty through the post. In the event of non-payment, she'll go to magistrate's court.
As for the sofa, looks like John's going to draw a blank, so it'll have to be collected and disposed of by the council. What residents don't seem to realise is that the council will happily dispose of up to 5 items like the sofa for a subsidised £16. Better value surely than £65 for a cigarette butt. In Leicester, AJ's crack clearance team have arrived to clear out the dead man's flat. AJ has to get the council property cleared and available to rent as soon as possible, as there are now new targets he needs to meet, only allowing a maximum of 21 days before the flat must be let out to a new council tenant. Fortunately, this time there's no danger of needles or drug paraphernalia in the property. Dennis and Sean can get stuck in, and when they get going, there's no stopping them. Everything that isn't nailed down in the property ends up in their bins.
These are all his personal items, really. I know it's sad, like, if someone's died in the room, but you're in the job every day. It's a thing that doesn't pass through your mind anymore. You come into the house and you get an album of photos, and it's sad, really, because there's a lot of memory there. Wedding photos, your granddad, your parents. Once it's gone in here, it's gone.
With the speed these properties need to get turned around, sometimes the boys can get there a little early.
We've done an house, and actually walked in, and there was a woman there flicking over the telly, and we've come to empty her. And she should have been there, like, I mean, that's what you come up against, really.
To make their life more difficult, often the lads can't park their dustbin lorry near the property, and this flat is no exception. Most of their time is spent taking the bins and other heavy items to the lorry, a problem that slows their progress enormously. Either way, though, within a matter of hours, this flat is devoid of any trace of the old man. A sad but necessary conclusion of the life the gentleman led.
The whole place is empty now. Now what we can do is basically check out all the doors, the windows, the flooring, whether it needs painting or not.
Even though the place looks pretty clean, AJ needs to install a new kitchen, a new bathroom, new light sockets, and give the whole flat a lick of paint before the next tenant can move in. Often AJ will recharge the previous tenant for any damage to the property, even if it means getting payment out of the deceased person's estate. But on this occasion, he puts it all down to wear and tear, and there's nothing to pay. Within just a few days of making the renovations, the flat will be let to a new and hopefully grateful tenant. Across town, the search continues for environmental health officers Alison and Steve, who are trying to find any evidence of relatives to contact to alert them to the tenant's demise, but still, it seems futile.
We still haven't found any evidence of any close relatives. But at the moment, nobody. Just him and his antiques.
They're also having no luck on finding any assets that the man might have had to pay for the welfare funeral. A welfare funeral costs the council on average £1,000, so any contribution would help. Suddenly though, Steve might have a breakthrough.
Some car keys, a Volvo and a Ford.
We've got 2 car keys, so we'll have a look outside in the car park and see if we can find a Volvo and a Ford that these keys fit. If they're in running order, we could send them to auction. That might help towards the cost of the funeral. That'll be the Ford.
The Ford is easy to locate in the car park outside, complete with a few parking tickets.
It's quite an old car, but it looks in good condition. Yeah, we might get a couple of £100 for it.
On closer inspection of the boot, Steve finds some documents that could lead them to the Volvo.
Volvo 740 GLE estate.
With a quick look round the surrounding area, the Volvo is still proving elusive, but now they've got the registration number, it should be easy to trace. Finally, quite a productive end to a rather frustrating day.
Disappointing that we haven't found any relatives. That would have been nice. We've got enough now to certainly try and recover some of the costs, and obviously in the absence of any relatives, we'll just get on and deal with the estate and make sure that everything's tied up and there aren't any loose ends.
It's late Thursday night in the City of London, and as the evening revellers have one for the road, Dave and Byrne, one of the city's street flushing teams, are heading out to start their shift.
Turn on, Byrne.
It's their job to clean up the legacy of excess drinking, flush the streets and clear all the drains. Tonight is the night to tackle some cross grids, a regular job that Dave loathes.
Doing these is a nightmare. Some of them are really difficult to get up. This is a cross grid and they're just long gullies. They get dirty really quickly because they're only shallow and narrow. I mean, once they're full of dog ends and dust and sludge, the water won't drain off into them.
Eventually, Byrne and Norm get all the grids up and Dave can get his hands dirty.
This is definitely the worst bit of the job. I mean, we clean sick and we clean excrement, but this is the worst part because you're so close to it. I mean, with sick and excrement, you can sort of keep at a distance.
After Dave's handballed all the fag ends, dust and sludge, all that's left to do is hose the grids down. But if getting the grids up was bad, putting them back's a nightmare.
The grids don't seem to want to go back in. It's really annoying and time consuming.
But with a bit of delicate footwork, the grids go back in.
Hallelujah. Right, we finally managed to get the grids back. One of them had managed to bend outwards and camber, so it wouldn't fit in. That's this area finished. It's taken a lot longer than it should have done, but we got it done in the end. And now we're going to put everything back on the cab back and go and have a cup of tea.
Since the filming of the show, AJ has eventually got the Leicester flat back on the housing rental register, and the woman who dropped her cigarette butt has still not paid John's fixed penalty fine.